My first fast food job was also my last, because after spending time behind that cash register and seeing how grim the future of working a place like that would have been, I realized the only thing worse than being unemployed is having a job. If you're a Tantris watcher, then you already know I have sympathy for people who don't want to work anymore, because it sucks. Here's my story. When I graduated high school and got accepted into college, there was a brief 4-month window where my parents were like, maybe you should get a job. And I was like, that's a pretty big fucking maybe. Until they said I was financially responsible for myself until the beginning of the next school year. Long story short, I got a job at a hot dog shop downtown, which gave me a brief glimpse into the depressing life of working in the fast food industry. In the old days, this kind of job was seen as a stepping stone in the path of the American dream, which, as far as I'm concerned, is still a dream, by the way. If you work this shitty job, you'll become the manager, and sometime in the future, your life will just automatically become good because you start reaping the fruits of your past labor. Now the entry-level job is just a career dead end for millions of people, and you'll quickly understand why workforce participation among young people is dropping faster than a Netflix show after one season. Some of the first people I saw walking into the store were a middle-aged mother and her 18-year-old kid, and that's not funny, that's just fucked up. So first day at my job, the manager gives me the rundown. Make the food right, don't steal from the register, don't cut the vegetables like a fucking idiot, don't put ketchup on hot dogs. Wait, what? A blind, one-handed chimpanzee with a mild traumatic brain injury could do this job. First day of training, I'm standing behind the register while the manager is out for a smoke, and a big dude comes up and says, "Yo, give me the fucking money." Naturally, I freeze and go, excuse me? And so he slams the front of the register really violently and bellows, "Give me the fucking money!" So I start opening the cash register, hands shaking like I'm on a bad game show, and then he laughs and says, "Nah, I'm just messing with you. My name's Kyle. I'm the security guard." Well, Kyle, you just secured your spot as my new least favorite person. Training ends and the manager leaves, so there I was, planted in that tiny little hot dog shop on the corner of some rundown street in not Minnesota. My gaze locked onto the clock like a prisoner counting down a life sentence with another guy on the shift. And the people you work with are always a mixed bag. There was this one cool dude named
your mom
who always shot the shit with me. And we probably would have hung out in real life had I had more time. But then there were other people who just sort of stood there and tried to make really awkward conversation. "Hey man, do you want to see a picture of my..." No. One of the most depressing things about working a fast food joint is that because the work is so mindless, your mind starts to wander off and you begin to question your sanity. You're not even getting paid that much. This is 8 hours of your day, which is more like 10 hours of your day if you count getting ready and commuting, to give to somebody else who does not care about you. And I knew all of this going in, so I would be standing like Patrick at the cash register thinking, is this what my life is amounted to? I could be making art. I could be playing. Okay, you get the point. But directly in front of the cash register was a street view of a mini mall. There was a Walgreens, a chicken wing shop, and a cell phone store. And I just stared blankly at the cashiers I could see from my vantage point until we finally made eye contact, almost like an unspoken confirmation of the fact our lives were sucking the big one. Suddenly, a customer walks in, and now I'm faced with an unwanted, awkward encounter with someone I don't know and who has absolutely no interest in knowing who I am either. The first thing you'll notice when you get a fast food gig is that the second you put on that uniform, you're no longer a person. You're just a human-shaped obstacle standing between some guy's face and his fries. Is it worth $7.20 an hour? Fuck no. Normies rarely say the magic words please or thank you. In my months of service, I almost never heard, "Hi, could I get a Chicago dog, please?" Instead, it was, "Chicago dog. Chicago dog." Ah, yes, the ancient fast food summoning ritual. Say it 3 times in a mirror and a minimum wage worker somewhere in the world will begin to suffer. Chicago dog! Oh my god, make it stop! There's a saying in the service industry, the customer is always right, but my manager, on day 1, clarified, the customer is always right until they leave. Which honestly makes sense, because if the customer was actually always right, this place would have gone out of business faster than I could quit. The thing that made me really uncomfortable about making other people's food, on top of being treated as a second-class citizen, was that every time you make a hot dog, your customer is just eyeing you down like you're giving them a performance. Don't you have a phone? Some TikToks to scroll through? I'm not that interesting, I promise. And then there were the regulars. These guys would just stroll in and hit me with, "Let me get that thing I had last time." Buddy, do you think I keep a psychic Rolodex of your eating habits? Do I look like Professor X to you? I always had a big mouth on me, specifically because I would prefer getting fired for at least standing up for myself than taking bad treatment like a little bitch for a sandwich shop. Anyway, there was this lady upstairs who claimed that she knew my boss and that she was owed a free soda every day for business reasons. Knowing that sometimes people will give you $5 only for them to say, "Hey, I gave you a 10. I wasn't buying it. Or rather, she wasn't buying it. Anyway, so when the lady left in a fit of anger after I rejected her, she said something like, "Hey, young man, I'll have you know I come in here every day." And I look at her physique, and all I could say was, "It shows, ma'am." There were a lot of odd rules, like we weren't supposed to use ketchup because it's sacrilege on a Chicago dog. "Hey, where's the ketchup?" And I'd be like, "Is this your first Chicago dog, or are you just here for the tour?" But I didn't care. "Sure, have as much ketchup as you want. Here, take a free pickle, kid." It wasn't even the Chicago dog that ever gave me problems. The thing I most hated making on the menu was the Italian beef sandwich, because you had to specify if you wanted it dipped, dry, or juice on the side. All the other hot dogs would be done in like a minute, but the Italian beef sandwich was made from a beef always sitting in this rancid day-old meat juice that you had to dip the sandwich in. Wait 5 seconds, and then wrap it up immediately, despite the scalding hot juice oozing out of it onto your hands. If you weren't careful, you'd get scars. Also, I never understood why anyone would want that thing dipped and to go, because by the time they'd open it up when they got home, it'd be a crumbly mess of soggy meat juice bread. Hey kid, here's a puzzle. And because this place was a hot dog joint located next to all the bars downtown, the owner wanted to close the place at 3 a.m. to make time to profit from the 1-hour bar rush at 2 a.m. And so, you'd get a whole swath of drunk customers coming your way. And there's this thing where if you drink too much, while you might think you're the coolest guy since James Bond, the cashier is ready to fucking strangle you. "Hey, I'll have a hot dog with the works, but go easy on the condiments. I don't want to wear it." "Oh, that's a shame, sir. They'd look really good on you." "What did you say?" "I said that's $2.55. Now get the hell out of my store."